Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley,
This is D. Taylor Jolly.
and we want to say welcome to Happily Married Mondays with the Jollies. And we're going to talk tonight. Oops, I misspelled stress. Anyway,
That's stressful.
stress. Stress. I misspelled it in my rush to get that.
Because you're stressed about all the activities on your plate for the day.
Maybe that might be it. That might be it. But whatever the case may be, wanted to say tonight's show is about stress and marriage and the impact it has on marriage. And many people are struggling. We had a call with a couple who saw us at the marriage seminar we did a few weeks ago. And they're really having some major issues with stress, specifically financial stress, because the husband is between jobs and the wife is the one who's bringing in the money, and they're a blended family, and he felt that he wasn't getting proper respect. She felt he wasn't bringing his fair share to the table, and it was a lot of stress, a lot of problems, a lot of drama, and they were considering breaking up. So we said, "Oh, don't, let's not do that. Let's get you some counseling." So not us, because we want to make sure everybody realizes we're not counselors. That's not what we do. We are mentors, and there's a difference. So we help mentor and tell you what we found to be successful. We don't have all the answers to every problem that maybe a marriage counselor has seen before, but we can tell you the things that we've done that have been successful, that have been helpful, and as a result of that, we can be a blessing to you. So,
And the problems that we've overcome
yes,
and how we did it.
yes. So tonight we're going to talk about stress and marriage, how to minimize stress, and
How we do it.
how we do it, and how to maximize good times, maximize love, and maximize our marriage.
Okay, so let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
So,
Let's
what's
first talk
stress?
about stress, what it is.
Okay, tension,
Mm-hmm.
pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and the inability to be able to handle it. The feeling that you can't handle it. Okay?
Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it mental?
It could be a mental state.
Mm-hmm.
It could be emotional,
Mm-hmm.
or it just could be tension as a result of adverse circumstances.
Okay. And how does it impact men versus women?
Well, before we get there,
Okay.
let's look at the main causes. So we know what it is. So it's
Okay.
pressure, it's tension, and it's usually from some kind of outside force that we tend not to have control over, or we think we don't have control over it. So where are these stresses coming from? A lot of the information that we've gathered have come from the American Psychological Foundation, and there are thousands and thousands of books out there.
Okay.
So just kind of looking at the lay of the land and reading a lot of different information, the causes for stress kind of fall into three categories. It seems to be a mighty three in everything that we do.
Okay.
From the challenges with couples, sex, money,
Yeah,
and communication.
Yep.
Stress, there seem to be three main problems. Where does stress come from? Not being focused. Oh my God, being unfocused. Now, why is it that we're unfocused? Because everything in the world is going on. And today's society, because of the phone, everything,
Phone.
distractions. So we're not focused. So a number one problem is we're unfocused because of all of the interruptions. And psychologists say that our brains really can't handle it in its normal, the way it used to handle those interruptions and situations hundreds of years ago. But now we have all this new technology,
And we
don't have
pulled
focus
all the time from emails,
Right.
texts,
Right.
this, that, and the phone is
So that's pressure.
okay.
Being unfocused and all the things that are happening to us, that's pressure. And then there's something that they call fear. Our brains respond to bad news. think about CNN, CNBC, and you're always saying to me that I like to keep the news on in the background. Well, I want to know what's going on, but research has shown that your brain tends to light up and be more active when it's negative news. So maybe that's why all the news shows, they lead with,
if it bleeds, it leads, or if it's something that is titillating, it leads. Okay, okay.
So we're unfocused.
Yeah.
And our brains are now sensitive to, because our brains are reacting to all this negative news. You tune into everything that happened with R. Kelly, with Smollett. You're on overload, and then your brain gets tired. Then you have fatigue.
Now,
and your brain is tired.
And you add that to the stress that comes from maybe traffic, and your drive home, that it's stop and go, or accident, stress that happens at job where you're being asked to do more with less, you get asked to run 1,000,000 miles an hour, and stress can have a major impact on your health. Here's what I learned. Now you got that. Let me tell you some of the things I learned. And this was interesting about American Psychological Association, that stress also has gender impact.
Very different.
Very different gender.
Male versus female.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the fact that women tend to take on the stress in a different way. What they end up doing is you see the illnesses and physical health being impacted by women who have stress as part of their process, and they have chronic illnesses as a result of that.
Well, I think, may I interject here?
You may.
I think that with females, we want to process the situation more.
Okay.
As opposed to...
Well, I'm just saying I'm not saying why it happened. I'm just saying what is the result. Here's what it says. You see hypertension, depression, anxiety, and obesity.
Yes.
However, men are not by no means getting away free. Although more women see the doctor for stress-related ailments, more men die from those ailments.
That's because they don't go to the doctor.
Hello. There's studies there. Now, that said, I specifically wore my Sport and Health shirt. I want to give a shout out to Sport and Health, my health club in Washington, D.C., a great health club. And I am a member there, and I've spoken for them, as well as their VP of Development, Nancy Terry, has made Attitude of Excellence book mandatory reading for their managers. Well, I go because it makes me less stressful. You go to yoga, and you still go
because
to
it makes you less stressful being
Thank
around
God,
me.
hallelujah for yoga. I tell her every month I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the yoga, because when she comes back, she's less stressed, and working out. Working out helps to create endorphins that will be released. It's a natural response to stress. Stress can be overwhelming. Now, I want to get to a couple things about stress. The big things that stress in marriages, money is a major stress issue. Major stress issue. And I want to talk a
Lack
little.
of money.
Well, no, not just lack of money. It's because if we read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, the book, The Millionaire Next Door, says it's not how much money you make, it's what you do with the money you make, how you manage the money you make, more so than what you make. There's some people who are not high income earners, but they are wise in how they manage their money, and they become millionaires. That's why they call them millionaires next door. Average people who become millionaires. And so, and of course, a lack of money makes you stressful, because it makes you think about it all the time. But then secondarily, in relationships, it's not just the lack of money, it's the management of the money and your systems. We want to get back to
inability or lack of communication about money.
But a system. We're talking about a system. And that's what I want to get to. What works for us? As I said, we're not marriage counselors, but we tell you what worked for us. Now, we've been married going on 34 years, haven't had an argument in 30 years. But
we never argued about money.
That's what I wanted to get to next. We have never had an argument in over 33 years over our personal income, or our personal revenues, our personal money. Never.
Why is that?
Because we set up systems early on that worked. and they have continued to work. We've never had an argument. Now, in the book, chapter number 10, Money Matters, we talk about the fact that we created a system that worked for us. We call it the three-pot system. Now, the book talks about it, and I want people, if you don't have the book, got to take a commercial break. Book is now on Amazon. Yay! Okay, so many people had wondered when we were going to put it on Amazon.
It is on Amazon.
And it's now on Amazon. After a year of the book being out, it is finally on Amazon. Not because Amazon was difficult. I just didn't want to put them on Amazon.
So now they have a choice. They can go to Amazon or they can get it directly
from
us.
Y'all know I'm frugal, and I wanted to make sure this book, we had gotten into black in terms of our investment in producing this, because this is our publishing company. Jolley Life Publishing is our publishing company, and we had to get into black on this so that we wouldn't lose our shirt. We're in business to make sure we don't go out of business. So
we're in business to make a profit.
And make a profit. So we were able to do well with the first printing. Then now the book is new printing. We've made upgrades. We've got a new cover with some new changes. And I like this red across here. And it does that feel good?
Yes, dear.
It really feels. I love the way it feels.
Come on.
Anyway, the book is now on Amazon. So, chapter number 10, Money Matters, we talk about the importance of creating a system. If you don't have a system for your marriage, your relationship, you're asking for stress. You're asking for problems. You're asking for disagreements. We created a system that worked. Now, there are 3 systems we found, and once you find which one works best for you, you can establish whichever one or accept or embrace.
Come up with another system.
And it might be another one, but we want you not to argue about money. Now, system number 1 is one-pot system. Our friends Kenny Glass, Rudine Glass in Detroit, Michigan, are some people who use that system. That is typically, and we found that the systems typically are dictated by age and stage of the couple. Now, if you're right out of high school, right out of college, you're just getting started in life, or you're newly married as young people in your early 20s, you typically find that you have no assets. You have nothing but a dream and a desire to be together. And so that typically we found was the one-pot system. All the money went into one pot, and one person was responsible for writing the checks, handling the money, so forth. Kenny and Rudine, they have done very well. They've got property. They put their kids through law school, 2 through law school and 1 through college, and they've got successful lives, and they just have had a wonderful, but they still use the one pot, and Rudine take care of all the bills. 2-pot is another system. Our friend Ronnie and Lynn Boardley got this because they saw their parents with this process. Now, that's usually people who are a little older. They might have an apartment, they might have a car, but they put 2 pots. One takes the one bill, one takes the other bill. They manage it that way. Our friend Michelle Singletary from the Washington Post doesn't particularly like this because she says it's more like roommates, but it works for some people. We use the 3-pot. We both had some assets coming into the marriage, and we both were older coming into the marriage. And so here's what we did. I had a checking account. She had a checking account. I put her name on my checking account. She put my name on her checking account. We continued to have our checking accounts, and we created a 3rd account, which is our 3rd pot, where we both make the
household account.
Household account. We make a distribution to the household account every month. We have a budget, and we maintain the budget. And if we need more money, I'll kick in some more money or whatever.
So what's the first thing? You have to come up with what system. Approach will work for you.
Yep.
And then you really have to have a budget. And what's the budget? How much money are you going to need every month versus how much money you bring in?
Right. How much you got a budget? What's the budget? A written budget, and it's clear in your mind what it is that you've got to pay this month. You got to pay the mortgage or the rent. You got to pay for utilities. You got to pay for food. How much money for food? Are you going out? When we initially got married, we had little children. We didn't go out hardly ever, did we?
No.
No, I don't remember us going. Sundays, we might go out after church on Sunday.
Well,
Maybe
where did we
once
go?
in a while.
Yeah. Well, when we left church, we went by Checkers.
Oh yeah,
It was Checkers.
that was our
That was
little
a
treat.
Sunday.
But we did
Totally
not spend a lot of
not
money
that.
on eating out. Okay, we
No.
had wasn't in the budget. And another friend of ours, they said what they did. I remember they would budget an amount in cash the beginning of the month every month for eating out. They put it in an envelope, and when that money was gone, it was gone, and there was no more eating out. So
then they agreed to
a system.
a system, which is important for making sure you don't have stress.
It lowers the stress. We have literally never had an argument about that. And that's with somebody who is very frugal. Cheap. I make the dollar holler, the penny squeeze and holler, because I'm not going to waste money. My wife and I work well together because we have established a communication where we talk about it.
I think that not having to be concerned about buying of personal items, clothing and gym memberships or things like that, not as personal items, are not really in our household budget.
Right.
Okay.
That's not the household budget.
No.
She buy her shoes out of her bank account. I buy my electronic toys. I always got some new little electronic toy I want to get out of that account. But we talk about it. And one of the points I love in the book, we interviewed Ron and Gladys Pemberton, who talked about how they both were older. They came with assets. They created a 3-part system. And even though they had the 3-part system, Ron made a purchase without talking to his wife that was a major purchase. Coming home from work one day, Ron loved cars. He loves nice cars. So he was riding by the Mercedes dealership, saw this beautiful new car out on the lot, rolled over and just stopped and wanted to look around. And he convinced himself that this would be great for him and his wife to have this brand new Benz. He bought the Benz, got home, and his wife said, I got a baby on the way. We got a baby on the way. We got a baby on the way. I'm carrying your child. How you going to make this kind of payment or purchase without talking to me first? And he said that day everything changed in his marriage. This is depending on what. They've been married almost 40 years. Probably been 38 years because their son is over 38. He probably 38, 39. And he said that day went from me to we. And he got a we mentality. And so even though he had his account, she had her account, they had to talk about major purchases. I mean, we talk about all the major purchases, and I just talk about it. What do you think? You know, little things.
Research shows women worry about money more.
Yep.
There's a clinical psychologist, Beverly Thorne, who's the director of Psychology University of Alabama, who wrote an article for American Psychological Association, said that women, all that to say, women worry more about money. Okay, 28% of women in the study called finances very significant source of stress compared to only 19% of men. And that's interesting.
I think that's interesting. I think
And by far, African American women were the highest group concerned about stress.
Well, and why was that?
Well, because of the challenges that they face as people of color, and we already know that women make less money. What is it? Used to be 60 cents for every dollar that a man makes. So you have the stress of discrimination. You have the stress of not making the same amount of money, and you still have to do the same kinds of things in terms of providing for your children.
So we're saying to everybody that it's important that we talk about and have communication, and you get systems. Stress is going to happen in your life. Ways to minimize stress: communication, Another way to communicate is get some systems. Systems work. A marriage system for dealing with your money. If you're arguing over dollars, then you probably don't have a system. Third.
So a system reduces stress.
Yep.
Because you already know how certain things are going to happen because you've already planned it out.
Right. Right. So we want you to get a mindset, a system that works for you and that y'all talk about. If you talk about them, you're going to have better success in your marriage and in your relationships. It really does work if you work it. So we want you to get a system, and we want you to talk more. Many people who, like that couple, part of the reason that they were arguing, because when I finally talked to them, I said, have you read the book? Now, they had the book. They had not. We kind of. No, read the book. And then I told them to get the audio. By the way, if you don't have the audio, a live seminar, get the audio. Listen to the audio. Because we talk about a number of the things there. First of all, though, is read the book. Each one of you should have a copy. Read the book. Talk about the learning lessons at the end of each chapter. And then discuss it. Get communication going in your relationship. It will help tamp down the stress. As I've gotten older, I've learned that I have allergies. And my wife one day said, you got to do something about this sneezing and this wheezing and this snorting. And I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. So I called the doctor and they said, you need an allergy medicine. I said, allergy? I got a cold. No, they said, you got an allergy. And I took the little pill, and I take one every day, and it keeps the allergies tamped down so they don't rise up and make my life miserable. There's a lesson there that if you find a system, you talk, it will tamp down the argument. Who wants to argue?
I think not just talk, but to listen. For women who tend to talk or verbalize more than men as a whole, I'm making a generalization, they want to be listened to.
And they do want to be listened to, right?
Yes.
And so
they want to be listened to. Not necessarily to have the man fix the problem, but to be listened to. That's part of the frustration and can lead to stress when you feel that no one is, or that your spouse, your significant other, is not listening to what you have to say with the intent to understand.
So we want you to listen. So a couple more things about stress. So we want you to work out. If you're not working out, we work out daily. And thank God that has an impact on our
So communication.
Health. Communication.
Which includes listening.
Yep.
With the intent to understand.
Yep.
Exercise. Which men tend to do more than women.
Really?
That's what one of the studies showed, that men tend to exercise more readily than women do. Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting. I find that very interesting because you exercise more than I do.
Well, that's because I found out from when we were on travel somewhere and did one of those where they had the health stations set up, and I had my blood pressure taken. I said, oh, your blood pressure is a little high. My blood pressure had never been high. So then I had to go and reevaluate what was going on and go to the doctor. And the doctor was saying that, and my doctor's Dr. Ellis and Dr. Mussenden, and Dr. Ellis said I was starting to get hypertension. So then I had to figure out why. And he said, well, what are you doing? I was already exercising.
Right.
So I had to continue to modify my diet. And then I added breathing exercises, which ended up being yoga. So I had to learn how to calm myself down.
Did hypertension run in your side of your family?
Well, everybody has high blood pressure in my family, and they take medication. So I have a a predisposed
A predisposition.
predisposition for that, and my goal is to not take any kind of medication. So I just double down on what else can I do to control my tendency to have hypertension, which would then lead to high blood pressure,
and I wonder,
which would then lead to medication, which would then lead to diabetes, which then would lead to
all the above.
kidney failure.
So
I just,
here's what I want to ask a question.
yeah.
A thought. If stress is a major part of many people's lives, would it not make sense for people to come up with some stress reduction techniques for their marriage that they could? We already told you about date nights and how that is a powerful, positive way to improve your marriage. If you don't have a date night, you got to have a date night. We've talked about the things that work for us. We talk about everything, not some things, everything. Good, bad, the ugly.
What?
You said you were going to talk about something tonight.
What?
Your towel.
No, I'm going to wait until you least expect it.
So, I feel y'all in real quick.
You just can't. Just an ice box. You just can't keep anything.
I was going out to the refrigerator, and I saw in a
He was going out to the shed.
And it's called a clear trash bag. It had a towel in it, a nice towel, one of our nice towels. I said, "What that towel doing in there?" So
he rummages through the trash. That's the bottom line. He rummages through the trash. Is that a stressor? So, I like the trash all organized and everything put away. And he will go through the trash to see if I've thrown away something that he wants.
So
that's a stressor.
But
I had to get a sense of humor about it because I know he does that. And he
Where did I get that from?
Your mama.
All right. See, I got it from my mama. My mama would go find something, and we were trying to get rid of her. But here's we talked about it. That's really what I wanted to get to. We talked about. I said, hey, what happened? And I didn't get upset. I said, what happened here? I actually thought it was that you had used the towel to get up the glass from the
okay.
All right.
Okay.
She broke a dish yesterday. And I said to myself, some people in a relationship when one partner may break a dish or something will flip out. We said it's a dish. And it's not that important. So, first of all, but we talked about the towel. And she said, you're odd. I said, I know. I take after my mama.
He rummages through the trash.
I said, I didn't go looking for it. I just happened to see it, and I went after it. But I said, I can fix this.
It's normal.
I can use this as a towel for my car or something. Anyway, so what we wanted to stress to you is talk. Talk to each other. Talk to each other. I had a call today from a friend. He was really teed off with his wife. And he said, when she comes in here, I'm letting her have it. I said, ho. Stop. Wrong attitude. Let's dial that back. He said, why? I said, let me tell you why. Now, his commentary was that she had not been thoughtful, okay, on an issue. I said, let's go through the 4 F's so that make sure you're clear what it's going to take. First, be friendly. Never start off hostile because people put up defense mechanisms. Second, be frank. Now, here's what we've learned about telling people to be frank. Many people took that as, you did this, or you did that, or you did this. No. Here's what frank means. This is how I feel, how that made me feel. What you did or what happened, how it made me feel. Not about what them and pointing about this how. Be frank about how you feel and your feelings. Then be fair. That's what I told him, main thing. Ask her why she did or proposed what she did. He was offended by it. I said, maybe she has something you don't know that can give you another perspective. Listen, which is what my wife said. You got to listen to their perspective. You might get something profound. And finally, be focused on a positive ending, that this ends up well.
She might not have known that whatever that was was something that would offend him. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone intentionally offends them.
No, I don't think so either. I think it maybe not thoughtful
Not
or
knowing.
not knowing or has another perspective.
So communication.
So, look, our time is up. I want to thank y'all for coming. I want to thank y'all for spreading the news about this. Please subscribe to our channel. Tell everybody you know to subscribe. Monday nights with the Jolleys. We've got a lot of stuff planned. We're going to be interviewing some couples. We've been on the phone with some couples who really going to bless you over the next month, I guess. Monday nights with the Jolleys, Happily Married Monday. Tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody about it. Tell your friends who are struggling in their marriage. We want to save 1,000,000 marriages and enhance 1,000,000 more. We want to encourage you to get the book. Communicate. Make love, make money, make it last. Get the book and get the audio live seminar.
And have patience.
There we go. And
with strange people who like to rummage through the trash to find stuff.
Yes, do that. Have patience with your mate. And our audio book will be out probably by the end of the month, as well as the workbook. So we're working on both of those. And we want to thank you. We're going to have a marriage seminar. Many of you have asked. We don't know when it's going to happen yet, but we are going to have a marriage seminar. We want to encourage you to send us an email with a couple things. If you'd like to know more about the marriage seminar, where we're going to have it, when we're going to have it, we'll put you on a list. Second, some of your questions. Some of the things you're struggling with or you're dealing with or things that are bothering you in your marriage that you maybe want some other insights about. We will take some of your questions and try and answer them as time allows. Thank you for calling. JollyMarriage.com for those who are new to get the book. Get an autographed copy at JollyMarriage.com. You can get a book, any book, at Amazon, and we're grateful for that.
Yes, dear.
You look good.
Thank you.
You're a cutie.
Jolly out.
Jolly out. God bless y'all. Love you. God bless.